larger data sets, so it's moving just a little bit slower. But you can see, oh, and actually, I apologize, it looks like this happened in reverse of what I was expecting. So the first site that I clicked on became part of my specified object 3. I'm going to have you take a look at the oblique cutting option. This can be really useful if you need to create a separation between two kind of loosely connected objects. It can also be useful if you just have somewhere you want to create a break. So I'm going to show you how you could very roughly separate a pulmonary vein here. So I'm going to click Add Object first, and I'm going to rotate the rendering. Now you can do that using the middle mouse button by dragging and dropping. Or if you can start the latest patch update for Analyze 10.0, then you'll actually be able to use the Control key on your keyboard and then just drag with your left mouse button, like so. And you can install that latest patch update by selecting Help Analyze Update in the main Analyze window. So once I've rotated the rendering, I already have my oblique cutting option selected, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to click. And it's automatically going to attempt to find the correct oblique image. You can see in the rendering here, we can see the oblique image position there. You can see actually the oblique image right here. And down at the bottom of the interface, we can see with a dotted line, we can see the position of the oblique image in all 3 planes. And you have the ability to drag and drop the oblique image, or you can rotate it as necessary. You can also manipulate that on the rendering as well. Now, in this instance, my oblique image is a size such that it's contained into that other range. So what I'm going to do is change the dimensions of the oblique image. And you can do that by right-clicking and choosing Dimension/Increment. And currently the oblique image is 100 by 100. I'm going to change that just to 75 by 75. Now it looks like I'm still getting just a little bit in there. And we could probably adjust that by maybe doing a rotation. Or we could still, again, just change our increment, or excuse me, our dimensions. Like so. And once you have your oblique plane in the optimal point, you click the Cut button. And you can see in my rendering, everything on the opposite side of that oblique plane has automatically been reassigned to my object 4. Now, if there were other remaining voxels connected on either side of the oblique image, what we would end up with here is just a single row of voxels belonging to object 2. But since there's very clear separation, there are no other green voxels on the other side of this oblique plane, everything's been reassigned to my object 4. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move on into some of the manual options so you can see how those work. I would definitely encourage you to explore these other semi-automatic operations, though, because they can be very powerful. And there is additional information available on each of those in the user's guide, which you can get to from the Help menu. As I said, I'm going to go and move now into the Manual tab, and you can see my interface automatically converts back to the standard volume edit view. So I mentioned earlier that we might want to remove some of this blood from the left ventricle, and we could do that using our trace tool underneath the Manual tab. So I'm going to go and do that now. I click Trace, and I'll choose Add Object. What I can do now is I can actually come up and trace on the rendering. You can see that blue line. And anything that was inside of my trace that is currently rendered has been reassigned to Object 5. You can see if I rotate, I cut through all the way at 3D. Now, if you ever want to just reset your rotation, you can right-click on the rotation window and choose Reset Rotation. Now, if you wanted to do some manual slice-by-slice region definition, you have a variety of options here. You can do the standard auto trace, and you have standard auto trace options there for copying forward. So you can just click into a seed point and then adjust your threshold range. And if you set auto advance to forward, sorry, I actually need to hit Add Object here to define this as a new object. But with auto advance to forward, I click Apply, and you can see down here my seed point was applied to the previous slice and then copied forward. So now we have that region showing up in our rendering. So that is one way that you can do slice-by-slice segmentation when you're finding that the semi-automatic operations are no longer working. You additionally have the Slice Edit tool, or excuse me, Spline Edit, I apologize. And this also has a copy forward option, but it is a little bit hidden. Before I show you that though, I'm going to, let's say I didn't want to change this green or blue object, and I wanted to define all these outside voxels. Now what you could do is you come up here to your Objects panel, and you can click the Lock button next to those objects, and that will prevent them from being changed. So now if I come down, I've got my Spline Edit tool, new Spline, and I'll just click around here. And I'll just double click to close. Now I can hit Apply, but if you do that, what will happen is your spline will automatically go away. There's a hidden option here. If you right-click, you can see there are keys to do Apply and Copy. So I'm going to actually do that now. I'll press the C key on my keyboard to apply that spline as Object 7 and copy it forward. So this is nice because you get the control of the spline, but you can actually then make adjustments on the next slice if you need to. And you can move those spline control points by clicking on them with your middle mouse button and dragging and dropping. So then I hit C again and copy forward, make adjustments as necessary, and then C. You can see, because I locked that green and blue object, they have not been changed. So that's a very nice feature here. So that is just a quick overview of the tools. You see there's a lot of different things you can explore here. A couple things that you might end up doing after cardiac segmentation in Volumetric. You might save your object map file and then take it into the region of interest module to do a volume measurement. You could also use that object map file as the basis for surface generation. You could export those surface models for computational fluid dynamics or finite element analysis. You could also do 2D line measurements. That would likely require you to do explicit grayscale segmentation, so you want to remove everything outside of the structure you want to measure. And so to do that, there would be a few extra steps. You would need to save your object out and then mask your grayscale data. But if that's something you're interested in, let us know and we can take you through the steps for that. Another application might be functional assessment. So if you had a perfusion map, for instance, you could load your object map onto that perfusion data and then sample different regions using the region of interest module. At this point, I will go ahead and open it up to questions. I'm seeing here that the question about does Volumetric support four-dimensional data? I need to segment the heart across several time points throughout the cardiac cycle. The answer to that is yes. When a four-dimensional data set is loaded into the Volumetric module, you'll end up with a volume slider underneath the objects panel. And you can actually move through different time points then and segment regions. And you can also use most of the automated segmentation tools to propagate through all of those different time points too. Another question that I have here is, do you apply any other filters besides the edge detection filter? I'd like to smooth my image here first. So you can't apply any other filters directly within Volumetric. However, you could, of course, go to the Spatial Filters module. And after you use the process menu, and for smoothing, you might choose to apply low pass or median filter. Another question that I have here, are there other tools, tips to help us segment the heart